Tonight on NewsWatch Ole Miss, yesterday's severe weather may have missed the Oxford area again, but it wreaked havoc across much of the South. We'll take a look at the damage.
Gas prices continue to rise across the country, and Oxford is no exception. Coming up, we'll take a look at how locals are dealing with rising prices.
White women tears trumps justice.
And Dante Wright's family is outraged today after the former police officer who killed him received her sentence. That story and more straight ahead. NewsWatch Ole Miss starts now.
Good evening and welcome to NewsWatch Ole Miss. I'm Kennedy Cooper.
And I'm Gavin Norton. Well, yesterday's severe storms did little damage in the Oxford area, but that cannot be said for the rest of the South. In total, about 2,700 Mississippians woke up without power this morning. And although this video is from Alabama, similar wind levels swept through much of central and east Mississippi last night. In Macon, a building collapsed and it led to 3 women being trapped. The building was already abandoned, but severe rain and wind made it fall on the adjacent drugstore, trapping the women within. Fortunately, the women were rescued and sent to the local hospital with minor to moderate injuries.
The Oxford Police Department announced a partnership with Gateway Tire for their latest crime prevention program. With a rise in catalytic converter thefts across the country, OPD investigators found a way to engrave identifying markers on catalytic converters at a minimum cost to any automotive shop in town. It allows scrap metal vendors to identify it as if it was stolen. Catalytic converters help turn vehicle exhaust into less toxic gas. OPD will be at Gateway Tire on Tuesday to help kick off this program. To learn more about the program or partnership with OPD, you can reach out to OPD PIO Breck Jones at bjones@oxfordpolice.net.
And in other vehicle-related news, Nissan Motors is planning to manufacture 2 new models on fully electric cars in Mississippi. Today, executives announced that they will be investing $500 million in its Canton, Mississippi vehicle assembly plant to accommodate the new electric models. Production of the new Nissan and Infiniti electric vehicles is scheduled to begin in 2025. The plant currently serves to make the Altima, Frontier, Titan, and Titan XD models.
Yesterday's storm might not have hit Oxford, but rising gas prices certainly have. NewsWatch reporter Terrigan Dixon went to find out how Oxford residents are adjusting to the increasingly high cost of fuel.
I'm not happy about it.
It makes me sad.
Feel like we're getting robbed.
Gas prices have hit an all-time high, with the Consumer Price Index reporting a 7.5% increase in a year. It's the largest inflation surge in 40 years. In Mississippi, the average price per gallon has jumped 15 cents in just 6 weeks. Cashier at the Chevron gas station, Catherine Reagan, is upset about the increase in prices.
Makes me mad, sad, and everything else. Because you're working for your money and it's going into trying to get here.
Although Mississippi has the lowest average gas price in the nation at $3.09, it is 95 cents more expensive than it was at this time last year.
Being a single mom, and having to take care, make sure my child has what she needs and the house has what it needs, the gas prices are kind of insane.
High gas prices are even forcing customers such as Trent Butler to buy a car with lower gas mileage.
I used to have a 4-wheel drive truck and be able to drive what I wanted to drive, and it's aggravating in the fact that I can't do that anymore just because I can't afford to put $90 worth of gas twice a week.
As a result, national legislation is considering gas tax suspension to combat surging gas inflation. Terrigan Dixon, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Do not expect prices to go down anytime soon, and they may get much worse as international tensions between Russia and much of the Western world rise.
But gas prices aren't an isolated incident. Inflation is hitting rent prices just as hard. And NewsWatch reporter Evan A. Garcia talked to one local apartment complex where prices are already up compared to last year.
Rent prices have been increasing steadily during the last year, and Oxford residents are feeling the financial burden.
I definitely notice it, and it kind of just irks me a little bit because it's just kind of like an unnecessary raise in my rent price.
Higher rent prices makes it difficult to find an affordable place to live in Oxford. Apartment complexes like the Domain raised their prices. Rent last year was $425 a month, and now residents are having to pay $500. Marketing and leasing director Denver Haggard for the Domain says that this year rent rose $20 more than before.
We are on a tiered system, which means our rates start at the lowest, and as the year and the leasing season goes on, they climb.
And Domain resident Jack McIntyre says that rent increases are unfair.
People need more money now. Things are kind of tight for some people, maybe not for big places like the Domain. But as a college student, I work 1 to 2 jobs depending on how much money I need.
For now, McIntyre is not planning to renew the lease with Domain and will be looking for a cheaper option somewhere else. Ivone Garcia, NewsWatch Ole Miss.
Rent prices will likely only continue to rise with inflation and a very hot housing market.
Speaking of the housing market, new home prices has climbed more than 15% from a year ago, according to the National Association of Realtors. The median price of a house last month was just over $350,000. The NAR chief economist expects housing prices to keep rising. The amount of home on the market has fallen to a record new low. At the end of the month, there were just 860,000 homes available, the lowest since NAR began tracking it in 1999.
Well, back in Oxford, the Ole Miss School of Pharmacy officially announcing their new dean. The school chose 3-time pharmacy graduate Donna Strum, who served as an interim dean and executive director of the school since July of last year. Strum has been with the School of Pharmacy as an administrator since 2008. As dean, Strum will guide the 5 research centers within the school and help to facilitate research funding. The school brought in more than $19 million in such external funding just last year.
In other campus news, 3 University of Mississippi juniors are national finalists for the prestigious Harry S. Truman Scholarship. Psychology major Alex Bush, philosophy major Andy Flores, and public health major Jakyla Bryant were announced as finalists today. Their scholarship is awarded to college students who plan to pursue careers in government or public service.
Well, the city of Oxford is now accepting bids for the construction of a new public splash pad. Yes, with a budget of $175,000, the Board of Aldermen approved a request to advertise bids later this month. Once bids are accepted, construction will begin in April. The current plans include a 2,000 square foot play area with at least 20 water components. The splash pad will be located at the Oxford Skate Park, adjacent to the playground.
Coming up, coronavirus protocols are relaxed on campus more than they have ever been since summer 2021, but that hasn't had much of an impact on local cases. The latest on coronavirus in Mississippi is next. But first, here's a look at your current conditions.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
America, land of the free. It's at the core of who we are. Freedom. The freedom to live without fear, to drive through all 50 states, to sleep safely in our own beds, the freedom to jog where we please, to watch birds in the park, to wear a hoodie, the freedom to breathe. Before we celebrate the freedom most Americans have, we must fight for the freedom all Americans deserve. Because no matter your religion, gender, disability, age, race, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter.
When I was your age, I was just like you, fascinated by stars. But now I get to search for life in the universe. And who knows, maybe life is looking for us too.
So we're like aliens to them?
Yeah. Does anyone want to be a scientist now?
I do.
Awesome. We need more girls in STEM.
Maybe we can find aliens.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
It was an emotional courtroom scene in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota today when a judge handed down a sentence to Kim Potter, the former police officer who was convicted of 2 counts of manslaughter in December for the shooting death of Daunte Wright when she mistook her gun for her taser. CNN's Chris Wynn has a closer look at today's events.
In Minnesota, sentencing day in the case of former Brooklyn Center police officer Kimberly Potter.
It is the sentence and judgment of this court that you shall be committed to the custody of the Commissioner of Corrections for a period of 24 months.
The defendant was found guilty in December of 2 counts of manslaughter. Potter, a 26-year police veteran, testified that she mistook her gun for her taser when she fatally shot Daunte Wright, a 20-year-old black man, during a traffic stop last spring.
A police officer who was supposed to serve and protect took so much away from us. She took our baby boy with a single gunshot through his heart. She shattered mine.
During the hearing, Potter addressed Wright's family, asking for forgiveness.
I pray for Daunte and all of you many times a day.
Wright's family previously asked the judge to hand down the maximum sentence, which he opted not to do, citing the uniqueness of the case.
She never intended to hurt anyone. Her conduct cries out for a sentence significantly below the guidelines.
Under Minnesota law, Potter is required to serve 2/3 of her sentence in prison. With good behavior, she'll be eligible for supervised release for the other third.
I walk out of this courthouse feeling like people are laughing at us because this lady got a slap on the wrist.
I'm Chris Wynn reporting.
Prosecutors asked for a 7-year sentence earlier this week because the maximum sentence for a conviction would have been up to 15 years.
Earlier this week, a woman fell overboard a Carnival cruise ship in Louisiana shortly before the ship was scheduled to dock. Passengers said she had an altercation with her husband before falling and hitting the side of the ship and lifeboats before reaching the water. The ship immediately stopped and began searching the water for her, but yesterday returned to New Orleans while the Coast Guard continued to search. Here's what one passenger had to say about his experience.
With all hindsight, it was a great cruise. Mexico was a great place to be. It was just the last day was a little disaster, honestly.
The Coast Guard has officially suspended the search after 2 days of scanning the water.
Well, rescue workers in Brazil are searching for missing people still after the deadly flooding and landslides in Petropolis over the last 2 days. The landslides leaving at least 120 dead as residents continue to evacuate the area. Rio de Janeiro Governor Claudio Castro compared the mass evacuations to a war-like situation. Now over 500 firefighters have been deployed to aid the search. Castro says the rainfall was the greatest since 1932, and the Institute of Meteorology in Brazil saying a record 10.2 inches of rain fell in Petropolis in just 24 hours, nearly doubling the hillside city's record. Emergency responders have so far located at least 24 people, although over 400 have been left homeless.
In other environment-related news, carbon emissions from the U.S. power sector rose 7% last year, according to the data from the Environmental Protection Agency. Officials there said this spike has mostly come from a boost in coal-fired electricity. Demand for the resource went up after the economic shutdown due to the pandemic was lifted. The Cotex-2 emissions in 2020 dipped 11% according to the Energy Information Administration. The agency's administrator, Michael Reagan, released a statement saying these findings show the U.S. needs to back a cleaner power sector. The U.S. power sector is the second largest polluting sector in the nation, behind transportation.
And now for your NewsWatch COVID update. On campus, there are only 8 active cases confirmed, 7 of which are students and 1 of which is a staff member. For the past 7 days, there have been 6 new confirmed cases total. And across Mississippi, the State Department of Health just reported under 1,200 new cases today. NewsWatch will continue to keep you updated on the latest COVID trends.
Also in COVID news, a new study finds the average out-of-pocket cost for a COVID hospital visit tops $4,000. That's because measures to protect patients hospitalized with COVID-19 from financial liability have been rolled back by most insurers in the U.S. Between March 2020 and January 2021, less than 9% of patients with the private health care insurance had any costs associated with the COVID hospitalization. By March 2021, more than 84% of patients with private insurance had some financial responsibility for a COVID hospitalization.
And in more health-related news, the Food and Drug Administration has approved the first app that lets users schedule and deliver doses of insulin. With this development, people with diabetes will soon have a new tool to help them with their insulin shots. The company Tandem Diabetes Care says the app connects to a special insulin pump that gives needed doses of insulin, which stops glucose spikes after meals. The app's new feature will be available for free after a software update. The company did not, however, say exactly when this feature will launch.
The company Michelin is working with General Motors to create airless tires that will come on updated Chevrolet Bolt electric cars. The vehicles are expected to go on the market within the next few years. Officials say airless tires have advantages, such as no longer worrying about leaks. The irony in Michelin working on airless tires is that the world-famous mascot, the Michelin Man, is made up of air-filled tires.
Well, the United States' ban on Mexican avocados is no more. The initial ban took place after a U.S. health inspector received a death threat when he denied permission for a shipment from the Mexican state of Michoacan. The U.S. is resuming its avocado inspection program starting next week. The Department of Agriculture said it is working closely with Mexican authorities to enact enhanced safety measures for inspectors who are working in the fields. The resumption of this program is so important because currently Michoacan is the only Mexican state with permission to export to the U.S., and approximately 80% of their exports do go to United States markets.
Coming up in sports, baseball season is officially upon us as the Rebel baseball team opens its 2022 season today against Charleston Southern. And Coach Yo and the women's basketball are back on track after last night's win over Texas A&M. Find out more up next in sports.
Disaster tips from the objects left behind.
My home wasn't insured, but you can check your insurance policy now to make sure you're covered. Oh.
My savings are lost, but you can put money aside and plan for unexpected disaster costs.
We're lost forever, but you can scan important documents now so they survive.
Oh. For more tips on how to prepare, visit ready.gov.
On October 15th, 2017, 2 words changed the course of history. The words we wrote that day are a part of a longer and even more powerful history.
The wounds become scars.
Things are changing. We really need everyone's voices.
Today, we all have a chance to write another chapter, powered by everyday activism as simple as joining a march or reading a book, written to a permanent archive on a public blockchain.
Because it takes a sea of us coming forward to demand change.
Because no matter who you are, you can act too. The end of sexual violence begins with this next act.
I want to eat apples and bananas. apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
We scored? Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Wait, why does my face look like that?
Starting things off on Swayze Field, opening day is finally here. The Rebels are set to play Charleston Southern today and throughout the weekend, holding a ranking at number 5, matching the second highest preseason ranking for Ole Miss since 2008. This season will mark head coach Bianco's 22nd season manning the helm for the Rebels, and a win today will have Ole Miss at 19-2 in the home openers during the Bianco era. The rest of the series is set for tomorrow and Sunday at 1:30 p.m. Central on ESPN. Dribbling over to the hardwood, the Ole Miss women's basketball won yet another home game against Texas A&M. The Rebels dominated with a final score of 74-54 over the Aggies, improving their record to 19-6 and 7-5 in SEC play, leaving Texas A&M at 14-11 on the season. Offensively, the Rebels' LaShonda Monk and Madison Scott and Shakira Austin were a nightmare for the Aggie defense as they accounted for over half of the team's points. The win marks the first regular season sweep over the Aggies in program history. The Rebels are set to face Vanderbilt this Sunday. Tip-off is set at 2 p.m. Central on the SEC network. Last night's win over the Aggies marked Coach Yo's 50th win during her time here at Ole Miss, but she says that there's a bigger goal to accomplish than just 50 wins at this program.
Really appreciative that we were able to show some fortitude and some resiliency. This is why I came here, you know, and I told my team just a couple days ago, I said, I want to win a national championship at Ole Miss.
Coach Yo and the Rebels will begin to wrap up their regular season slate as they prepare for 2 more away games and a pair of home games. Keeping the action on the hardwood, the Ole Miss men's basketball team is looking to bounce back into the win column this weekend as they travel to Georgia for a matchup against the Bulldogs. The Rebs currently stand at 12-4 overall, following Georgia at 6-20. The Rebs lost to South Carolina 77-74 in overtime, leaving the Rebs with a 3-10 record in the SEC following. Georgia's loss to LSU 84-65, leaving them 1-12 in the SEC. A win in Athens tomorrow could be just what Coach Kermit Davis and his Rebels need, as it would end their team's 4-game losing streak. Tip-off is set tomorrow at 12 p.m. Central. And serving things over to the tennis courts, number 15 Ole Miss men's tennis is set to face number 2 seed Baylor tonight at the ITA National Tournament in Seattle. The Rebels currently hold a 9-0 record following Baylor at 11-0. The Rebels took on the Bears last year in the 2021 NCAA Tournament Sweet 16 in Orlando when they dropped a tough match by the score of 4-1. An Ole Miss victory would set the Rebels against their number 7 seed Kentucky or number 10 seed USC tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Central. That's all I got for sports. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at rebel_watch for the latest sports updates.
Thank you, Cameron. Well, this egg could be the key to a major subaquatic discovery. See what rare and possibly paranormal creature it holds. NewsWatch Ole Miss will return after the break.
You told me not to talk to strangers. You told me not to cross the street without looking both ways.
You told me not to touch the stove. You told me not to do drugs. You told me not to drink and drive.
You gave me so many messages about how to stay safe. Why didn't you keep me safe by properly storing your gun?
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here.
Wait. What?
I can't drive.
Why?
My. Oh.
You want peanut butter? We need to hurry. You're late. You need to finish, please. I gotta get him changed. Okay.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Oh boy.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
We are Ole Miss Rebels. As Mississippi's flagship university, we dig deeper, see farther, work harder. We pioneered human organ transplants. We helped prove Einstein's theory of gravitational waves. We are distinguished as a Carnegie R1 top 2.5% research institution. We are Ole Miss, transforming lives and the world.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool. To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Take a look at this strange alien-like creature. Scientists are excited after finding this newly hatched ghost shark off the coast of New Zealand's South Island at a depth of nearly 4,000 feet. They're calling it a very rare discovery.
One of the scientists on the team that found it says they don't know a lot about ghost sharks, and what they do know comes from adult specimens. So they're hoping to learn a lot more about this creature with this little find.
Yes, little in stature, but I think very large in creepiness. I don't know about y'all. I'm a little grossed out by it. You don't think it's like cute or endearing in any way?
No, like it's so ugly that it is cute.
Oh, so you think it is cute?
Yeah.
Our
like
producer was trying to tell us it was cute. I was not buying any of it. Well, that might be a ghost shark, but our land sharks are taking on Swayze this weekend. Cameron, what can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. I think everyone is so excited about opening weekend.
Yeah.
I know I am. I think we have a great shot at winning Charleston Southern, for sure. So
That's
we just got to wait and see.
fantastic. Yeah, hopefully good things to come. Well, that's all we have for tonight. For NewsWatch Ole Miss, I'm Gavin Norton.
And I'm Kennedy Cooper. You can find us on social media at NewsWatch Ole Miss for the latest news in Ole Miss and beyond.
Well, thank you and good night.